And welcome inside episode 90 of Breaking Bats, presented by Not For Long Media. My name is Justin Ayers, and the big three is back again. We have Kait and Brian. Brian, I'll start with you, though. Brian, you look amazing. It's so great to see you. How are you? And welcome back to the podcast, man.
Oh, thank you. You guys look great, too. It's good to be back. Everything is good here, man. Just enjoying the little start to the off season here, being back with my family and being back home. It's always fun just catching up, not doing a whole lot. So yeah, I enjoy this part of the off season for sure. But yeah, everything's good. Good to be back and good to be back talking with you guys.
Oh, Kait, I think this is only the second time Kait and Brian have been on at the same time because we had the June episode. That feels like it was a year ago now. How are you, Kait?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just moved, enjoying watching some postseason baseball. Brian, I'm curious if you're watching right now, or do you kind of like remove yourself from it? Is it too much and you like go towards other sports? Or are you still keeping up for the most part?
I still like to watch. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I watch every single pitch because my wife wouldn't let that happen right now either. But no, I definitely, and I'm still, a little partial to the Phillies. Just from growing up as a fan of them, and I have some buddies with the Rangers too, so I've kind of been rooting for them as well. So I definitely still watch, and they've been some great games. But it is, as JA knows, it is also college football season, which is a big thing for me. So I'm watching a lot of college football as well.
Nice. Wait, who's your team?
I root for Penn State.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, big Penn State fan. I grew up that way. I obviously went to Rutgers. So I kind of pull for Rutgers a little bit too, but more so Penn State. Just have always been that way. My dad was a big fan growing up. In Pennsylvania, obviously. And hopefully they got the biggest game of the year so far this week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They got Ohio State on Saturday. So I'm pretty fired up for that already.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a huge matchup.
Wait, I feel like I've never. How come you're not a big Rutgers guy? Even like you're not a Shiano man. You're not pulling for. I mean, I don't know. They're not bad at football this year, are they?
No, they're pretty good, but no, I just was never really a fan of the football team there. We didn't, we would just we would go tailgate or whatever and then go back to our place. I never really went to games or anything like that. I went when Penn State played there. But, I don't know. It's just something about growing up in Pennsylvania and Saturdays were for watching Penn State, not Rutgers.
Well, according to TikTok, you're not from Philadelphia. So, I mean,
Yeah. The TikTok people definitely know more about me than I do. But, that's fine.
Even when I commented, I said, Brian says he's from Northeast Philly. They said, that doesn't count. It's not Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like those little, I don't know what suburbs of Northeast Philly. Yeah. They're just, you're not from Philly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My address was legitimately Philadelphia, but I'm not from Philly. You're right. My bad.
It's my favorite. I think it's still going on in the comments of that video too. It's just
first of all, the guy said Delco, which I definitely never lived in Delco, and where I live is nothing like Delco. So don't even put me in that fucking group. That's unbelievable. But that's a whole nother story.
Bucks County all the way, right?
My parents live in Bucks County. We moved when I was like 11 or 12. I can't even remember. From Philly to where my parents live in Bucks County now, which is about 20 minutes outside the city. And yes, then I went to Archbishop Wood, right down the street from where my parents live, and but it's funny too because Wood gets kids from Philly as well. They get kids from a pretty big area, to be honest with you, especially nowadays because they're pretty good at football and other sports. So just because you go to Wood doesn't mean you're not from Philly either. But anyway, whatever.
It's just funny the concept of like people arguing about like where you're from.
Yeah.
I was telling Brian, there's like in Maryland, I guess the closest thing would be like if people say they're from like DC or like the DMV, and there's always a big argument about like what is the DMV because it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but it's not all of Maryland. So like if you're from Baltimore, you can't be like DMV. So it's like there's this like internal battle between Marylanders of just like it's mostly just the DC counties that are like touch it, I think. But then you have some people like Annapolis and Baltimore are still, I don't know. It's the dumbest argument ever. But I love people arguing about like hometowns and where they're from because it's very funny.
No, it's the best.
Claiming hometowns. Kate, what do you claim as your hometown?
New York, Long Island, New York.
Okay. If you meet somebody for the first time, are you saying New York City?
No, never. No, I feel like that's more Jersey people say that. They're like, oh yeah, I'm basically from the city. And they're like, wait, where do you live in the city? And they're like, well, like Hoboken, but it's like right outside the city. So it's basically New York City.
I'll say a lot of people like just don't know places though. I'll give that. Like Kate or like me, I know if you say Hoboken, I'd be like, oh, okay,
Yes.
Going to college in New Jersey and everything, like I know those areas. But like Justin, if I asked you where you're from before and you were just like said where you're actually from, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know where the fuck that is. But if you said Ocean City or like close there, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Gotcha. I just say the word beach, not from the beach. It's just easier.
Yeah. Well, that's like the thing with Philly too, though, is like people, if I said where my parents live, like, oh yeah, Warminster, Pennsylvania, they'd be like, yeah, fuck is Warminster, Pennsylvania? Like only people from around the area are gonna know where that is. So if you say Philly, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah. You always have to like provide like a big landmark or something that you're close to. It's I say beach, you say New York City, and then Philly, which you're from Philly, but for people that don't know, it's a lot easier that way. Okay. I have 2 quick ads, and then we're gonna dive straight into so many things that I have written down. I have so many things. I have a binder full of things. Binders full of notes.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Philly, we have 2 apparel sponsors. One of them is a Philly company, Few Will Hunt. It's one of my favorite brands out there. They're out to restore the dignity of hard work. My favorite shirt to work out in. Check them out, fewwillhunt.com. Lastly, a New Jersey company, Shoreboy Clothing Company. They capture the essence of summer at the Jersey Shore year-round, shoreboy.co. Check them out. Okay, first up, before we talk playoffs, Brian, like we said, we haven't talked to you since June. A lot's happened since June. You are now a champion of the American Association of Professional Baseball. We're going to start, though, with, what did you know about indie ball before you played there? And then what did you learn as you were going through there?
It's funny because a lot of the guys I played with will say like the same thing. Like I always said to myself or to people that would ask that I'd never play indie ball. Like I would have never go and play at indie ball. But obviously I did. And it ended up being some of the most fun that I've had. But before, indie ball, a lot of people see it as kind of like a last chance or, trying to get back. And then there's a lot of guys who are in there who, just to be totally honest, aren't really very good and are, in terms of like affiliate ball, it probably don't ever really have a chance to get to the minor leagues or whatever. And they don't want to play, they don't want to stop after college or whatever it is from that. So, my idea at indie ball was like last chance, kind of like almost men's league type vibe. And, the team I was on was a little bit different because we had some pretty good players, but a lot of things were true, but it ended up being a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely. Kate?
Do you think indie ball has gotten better and more competitive over the years? I remember, I think it was now, oh my gosh, now, like 6 years ago, I interned for the New Jersey Jackals, which is an indie ball team. And at the time it was still new and they were up and coming. And I remember like a lot of their resources were still, on the ups. Do you think it's changed at all and has gotten more competitive?
Yeah, absolutely. My manager from Kansas City might have actually been the manager at the Jackals back then. I'm not sure, but
I have to look into that.
Joe Calfapietro is his name. He's actually from Philly. No crap, but
yeah,
he is. He lives outside of Philly now. He lives in where they live. They're like in Phoenixville, but yeah, he's a great guy. But I know he did. I'm pretty sure he did the Jackals before, and then, but yeah, the competition. Honestly, there was like I said, there are some guys who are like you would run into and it just wasn't great. But like my team had either 8 or 9 big leaguers on our team. So we were, nice. I mean, we were very good. And the rest of the guys were like mostly AA or AAA guys who had made it to AA or AAA. So our team was very good. And then there were other teams in our league that definitely had like this similar type of rosters. Ours was probably the most. I had the best, past experiences or like highest levels, whatever, before. But there was a lot of other really good players. I mean, Sioux City had some really good pitchers. There was Chicago had a lot of good players. I mean, there are some guys who can really play for sure and who have a chance to get back or whatever, or get there for the first time. And then I know like what's the other league? The Atlantic League. Yeah. I think Long Island Ducks, right? They that league's supposed to be pretty good as well. But in general, yeah, I definitely think the competition has gotten better. Guys they treat it more seriously in general, but then just the way baseball's changed in affiliate, it's been harder for guys to get jobs or they get released quicker nowadays because there's just less teams and stuff. So I think you have more guys who are talented and feel like that they can still play, and they go and do that.
And what's typically like the process following that? Do you have scouts coming to the games, or are they really like looking at your numbers in the off season?
There's definitely guys who are coming to watch the games. Obviously, you want to put up numbers too. But I think in my case, or in guys who have already been around a little bit, if somebody goes and watches a game and they just see something that they like, or they still think you can play or whatever, that might be all that it takes. But for a guy who maybe hasn't been there before, yeah, they probably got to put up some pretty good numbers to get that opportunity.
Cool. Justin?
Did you ask Matt Adams about what it was like to play for Kansas City?
Matt's a legend over there. Matt is a legend over there. They, some of the guys were there. My manager, same manager, they love Matt. I talked to Matt during the season because I was not happy at some points there. So he was kind of helping me out. But Matt played well, and they all talked about how we'll say intense Matt was, or some of the disagreements he had with umpires and things like that. So there are some pretty good stories about Matt. Some of the balls he hit out and just things like that. So it was fun to hear those kind of stuff because Matt's such a nice guy too. It's just funny to hear the competitor, the competitive side of him in games and stuff like that.
We have to get him back on. Because, yeah, I just think of him as like this super nice, quiet. I can't imagine him just like chewing somebody out. That doesn't sound like Matt.
I'm sure he'll come back on 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, some of the umpires there are pretty bad too. I'm like really bad. Oh, some of them are a decent amount of them were like high level college guys, like ACC or SEC. So they're pretty good. But then there's some who's it's bad. So Matt, who's got, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years in the big leagues. Somebody makes a bad call that's just, ridiculous on him. Yeah, he's probably going to let him hear about it a little bit.
I looked at like the big leaguers that like you had played with. It was like people that like are household names, not just for like diehard baseball fans, but I feel like a lot of people like, was it Odubel Herrera, I think, came in. Finnegan, who, remember, he was like the youngest guy. They like drafted him and he was played in the World Series that year or something for Kansas City.
Yep.
Did it feel good, like knowing that like that team wanted you though?
Yeah, I mean, but my agent was kind of, he's a good. I guess he had a good relationship with Joe, the manager, and he had sent some guys there before, and I'd known actually guys who had played there before too, who were all good players, and everyone kind of said the same thing. Like Kansas City, they do it the right way, they treat you right, and stuff like that. So, I needed to get back on the field too. But I also had a guy named Chris Herman who's got, I don't know, he's probably got 6 or 7 years in the major leagues too. He was a catcher he still is a catcher, but he was player of the year. He had an unbelievable year. But he was my roommate I played with him in Tampa, and we just kind of got to be buddies then. And he was there, and this was like I was still in Korea, and I saw him. Yeah, they played the fucking Savannah Bananas like to open the season, and like he hit a homer against them, and he had it on Instagram, and I like messaged him. I'm like, dude, like where are you playing? Like what is this, you know? And he was like, we were just playing them for a series or whatever, and so it was just funny. Like, yeah, he was another one. I mean, yeah, Doobie was our leadoff hitter, and obviously he had a very good big league career too. Can still hit. Yeah, Brandon Finnegan played with him with the Reds. He was first rounder. He pitched in the College World Series and then in the World Series the same year. I'm pretty sure he's the only guy to ever do that. Yeah, and that was the Royals that was what they won. They were unbelievable. Them, I mean, and there's a bunch of other big leaguers that were on that team that some people might know, but yeah, it was just it made it fun, and it made it tough at some points in the season because we were in first the whole time, and the season gets long. Sometimes we felt like we could just kind of roll out there and win. So we didn't play exactly like the hardest or best, and yeah, those were the times where it was feeling tough. But playoffs came and we all turned it back on, and man, it ended up being a ton of fun. It really did.
I've heard you say that before, where it's just like it helped you rediscover like how fun playing baseball is. Could you expand on that? Like, what was it about just like the opportunity to play in that kind of environment that was like the best time ever?
Yeah, well, for me, my career has just been so crazy with like, you work so hard to get there, and then you finally do, and then comes COVID. And then after that, like San Diego was great too, but at the same time, bouncing up and down got really old. Like just being in the big leagues for 2 weeks, being in the minor leagues for 2 weeks, like just doing that no matter what, and just not really getting like an opportunity, like truly, at the time got old, even though now I would do it in a heartbeat, but at the time, like doing it, you're like, man, this kind of sucks. But then, Japan was really cool, but it was tough at the same time. And then Korea was just rough for me. And so it was just so nice to come back and like play in America and play with, dudes I could just talk to, like just communicate with people and like know everything that's going on and all that stuff. So that was in the beginning, just like the best part. And it's just so much more laid back there. Like it really does feel like kind of a men's league type deal. So in the beginning, that was a lot of fun too, because it was just like I'm hanging out, messing around. Like I just wasn't taking it super serious. So those were probably like the most fun part about it. But then, after a little bit, it was like I didn't like it because it was too laid back. It was like all these things again, so it went back and forth, but it definitely helped me remember how much fun it was. And then the playoffs, like when the games really mattered, and like we had some crazy games in that stretch, and it made me play better too. So just like really trying to win a championship like that was a lot of fun again.
I love it. Kait?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned earlier this year, like your mental health standpoint, were you able to like see your family more? Because I know that was a big issue for you when you were like playing away. I mean, obviously in a different country.
Yeah, it was definitely hard. That was the roughest part. But no, they came out a few times. So that that was so much fun to have them there. My daughter loved it. She had a lot of fun. And my parents got to come out, so that was cool too, because they didn't see me play in a few years either. So yeah, that made it way better, and that was as fun as it was playing in Japan and Korea, and I wouldn't close the door on it again. But it's just nice to be in America and like have these things, the travel be easier, and just all the things like that. It just makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And now off-season mode, like November, do you take like a month off? Or are you like, no, back to the gym every morning, hitting in the morning? Like what's kind of your off-season routine until, spring training going back?
Yeah, right now I'm just lifting. I
Okay.
work out. I take a break from hitting just because it's good. When I was younger, I used to go right back and start hitting again. But as I've gotten older, it's better to just take a break. And, if I have specific things I want to work on, once I start hitting again, there's plenty of time for me to, get all that down and do what I want to do. But I can't just sit around. I have to go to the gym or do something you guys run. I have to I need to go to the gym and work out, or I don't feel right. So yeah, basically in the mornings, that's what I'm doing. And it's fun. I get to be a little, meathead for a little bit here before I start going back into doing baseball stuff and worry about that. And, Morgan, who we had on here, and obviously Philly, are playing right now, still doing great. I talk to him every day. He still gives me all my workouts. So, yeah, that's the other reason I love the off season is doing that.
That's awesome. Yeah, bulking season. I love it.
Morgan's the
That's
best,
right.
too.
Justin, go ahead.
Are you rocking the full meathead? Do you have the tank top with the nipples cut out and the big ass jug with your Tampa Bay Rays shorts on? Is that what the gym fit is?
No, I keep it a little more normal than that. But hey, to each their own. When they're in the gym, people like to do whatever they like to do. I do wear I haven't bought clothes to work out in, and I don't know how many years. So yeah, I am rocking Padres, Rays, random.
All of them, all at the same time.
Yeah. And
every team.
Yeah.
Every team.
A few will hunt stuff. That's what I'm wearing. I don't buy new, I really don't. So yeah, you see me in the gym, it's usually a Noble shirt with Padres shorts. Yeah, something like that going on.
Have you? Ooh, here's one. I wanted to go back too, but also, how many jerseys of your own have you do you own? And then have you ever worn your own jersey out in public?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
I've never worn my own jersey out in public. Well, for sure, yeah. And how many jerseys do I have? All right, I have this Tampa one. I have at least I have two Padres ones. I have a Sable Lions one. I have a Korea one. I think I either have a Cincinnati one, or I gave them to my family and parents. I can't remember, but I probably have 5 more. I don't really have space to hang them up right now. So one day we'll change all that, and I'll get them all, in a nice room and everything like that.
See, this is where you and I differ. If I played in the big leagues, I would go to Target in my jersey. I would you'd have to cut that thing off of me. I would wear that thing out just all the time.
Oh, well, dude, I live, where I live is a smaller kind of place too. So, people at the gym know me personally, so I don't know. They don't really care anymore, I don't think. But, yeah, I don't know. I like blending in more than anything nowadays. Especially, you spend some time in Japan and Korea, you stick out pretty easy. So I'm over the attention part of everything.
Early on in your career, I'm sure in the minors, you wanted everybody to know that you were a baseball player, though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure, but I don't know. I never wore anything crazy or stuff like that, I don't think. But yeah, definitely, I'm sure, yeah, you probably use that more when you're younger and just doing it. But then, and once I got to the big leagues, I don't think anybody recognized me anyway, but it wasn't like I was setting the world on fire either, trying to brag about it. So just kind of blended in.
I still use you on the Immaculate Grid. So
I do get plenty of Immaculate Grids from people. My buddies in when we were at Indie Ball, they'd be like, dude, got you today on the Immaculate Grid. I'm like, glad I can help out there. Yeah. My mom sent me the other day, one of the teachers at school, who's actually my assistant baseball coach, was there, had me on the Immaculate Grid and sent it to her. I'm like, yep, people send me that quite often. I'm a pretty good answer whenever it pops up, apparently. I've never done it, so I don't even understand it, but
so fun. It's addicting.
I do it every day still, even in football season. But there was a day, I'm not even kidding, it was you and Pete on the Immaculate Grid.
Oh my God.
That's a great Immaculate Grid right there.
That's good.
Speaking of Pete, when we talked to him, he said he was trying to coordinate a time when you guys were both in Kansas City to come say hi. So
yes.
Yeah, we just missed. It was sad. It was sad because there was like a crazy storm when they were there. And so we both got rained out. But they were like downtown, 45 minutes away, and he had family there because he's from Missouri, not too far away. So like by the time he was getting done with them, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, I was sad. I miss him. I miss Peter.
He's the best. We have to make a concerted effort though. We gotta get the band back together. We gotta get Pete and Brian doing something.
Yeah, I might take a trip to St. Louis this offseason. So, well, if I do, I'll definitely go see him and Josh Fleming. See those two idiots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're both St. Louis guys.
Last thing I had to clean up the indie ball thing was I figured out a way to put video into this StreamYard, and I just wanted your reaction to. Hang on, wait for it. This is bad podcasting.
Oh God,
wait,
I'm scared.
1-2. Through the middle, base hit center field. Herman rounding third. They're waving him in. The throw comes in from Heath. It's not in time. And the Kansas City Monarchs take back the crown. Miles Wolf Cup champions 2023.
So that, a little context, there was a game-winning hit in the American Association. Brian, how cool was that? That's not a good question, but how cool was that?
No, it was unbelievable, honestly. It was so much fun. The playoffs, like in the it was like the series before the championship. We were losing to Sioux City like 7-1 or something. And we came back and won, and it was nuts. I mean, it was half like we came back, and it was half they just like imploded. It was pretty crazy. but we won, so that was like insane. That was the craziest comeback I've ever seen or like been a part of for sure. That happened, and then Chicago, the championship series, we went to Chicago for the first game, and they beat us in like 18 innings, I think it went 17 or 18 innings. So like we lost 2-1 in 17 or 18 innings, or like 3-2.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane, and it was just the longest game ever. And then we beat them 3 straight after that. But we were up 2-1 in the series, and that game happened, and we were up 6-1 in that game, and they came back and made it 6-6. So everyone was kind of like, shit, we can't, like, are we really gonna blow this right now? And like the running joke was that I had booked a flight home like at the start of the playoffs in case we lost, or like what. So like in case we lost, I booked a flight home so that I could leave right away. And then I had it so like you can move it, like I paid extra so I could just like move it every time that we weren't going to leave that day. So it was just like the running joke that I had my flight already and everything, and I had to keep moving it. And so everybody was saying they knew that we were going to win when I was up because I already had my flight booked for the next morning. So they knew I was getting hit right there. But it was crazy. All right, I'll make this fast. I lost. So my bat company, Richie Bats, we were certified for 20 and 21 in that, MLB. And we haven't since then. So I was using old Hicks while I was there, but I still had one Richie bat with me that I would just use for like BP in practice. And when we were in Chicago, it just like disappeared. I don't know if I put it somewhere, like, I don't know what happened. I thought it was just gone. And I had 2 old Hicks left. That was it. And then I somehow broke them. I forget if it was both in that last game or if it was like one the game before and then one in that last game. So I was about to use my buddy Taylor Snyder's bat, and out of nowhere, a guy, Andy Yerzy, hands me my Richie bat. And I was like, this was in the bottom of the 9th. I'm like, dude, where the fuck did you like? I didn't ask him to or like anything. Like he just like found it and just brought it down and gave it to me. So I'm like saying to my manager, I'm like, yo, can I use this bat in the game or do I have to use something else? Because when I hit this walk off, I don't want them to like call me out afterwards because I used some bat that's not allowed. And he's like, no, fucking use it. And there it was. That was the hit. And
oh my God.
it was with the first time I used a Richie bat in forever. And the in that pile, it was nuts. I knew it. The shortstop was playing me over. I was literally trying to hit a ball like to where the shortstop would normally be playing, but it went more up middle. But thankfully it worked. I hit it hard enough like where it was definitely getting through, but not like too hard or too high that the center fielder was going to have a shot at throwing him out. So I knew right away. And like in the side view, I slammed my helmet down like halfway down the line, or like knowing that Herman's going to score. And whenever that happens, it's just like nuts. I think I took my jersey off and I just like blacked out. It was nuts. And then all I hear in like the chaos of everyone jumping on me and like throwing stuff is our closer, Patrick Weigel, who pitched in the big leagues for the Braves, is going, you don't got to change your flight again. You don't got to change your flight again. And that's like the only thing I remember hearing. It was so funny, like looking back on, but it was incredible. That night was so much fun. I mean, I'll never forget that for sure.
That's awesome.
There was a lot going on.
How was that? That's your first championship, right? Or have you won one in the minors?
I won one in the minors. Technically, I won two in the minors. I won one in Billings in short season that I was a big part of, and that was a lot of fun. And then in my first year in Double A in Pensacola, we actually won, but I was hurt. So, you know.
You get a ring for this one, though, right?
Three championships.
Oh, yeah. We're getting a big ring for this one. They're fired up about it. They're pretty pumped.
Yeah, I think you have to wait till like next summer to go get it or something. I think I briefly looked into this, so you have to change your schedule around June of next year. You
never know.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Okay, Kate, any last things before talk a little playoff ball?
I'm good.
Okay. Actually, wait, last thing. 2024 plans for Brian. This is good. I think people are actually curious. What is your goal? What are you trying to do? And we talked about your workout stuff already, but like, yeah, tell me what's the plan?
Yeah, the plan and goal is definitely is to keep playing. Preferably in affiliate. I'd like to get back to, just AAA or whatever. I would love to get an invite to big league camp. Not sure if that at this point is in play or not, but really for me, what I want now is just one more shot to try to get back and, play like that. I miss the chase of like trying to get to the big leagues or fighting to stay back in the big leagues. Like I really do miss that. So I still feel really good physically. Like my body feels the best it has in a long time. Still feel like I can play. Don't feel like I lost anything. Still know I can run, everything like that. So, I definitely want to play. So I'm preparing like I always would, and hopefully someone will give me that opportunity, and we'll go from there. And I am getting older. I know I'll be 32 in May, which is crazy. So I don't feel old at all. But in baseball these days, that's getting older. But I just want one more run at it, and I haven't not played well in AAA ever. So I don't, I have no doubt that I would play well like I always have, and be some depth or hopefully work my way up or whatever. So just looking for someone to give me that chance and go at it one more time. And if I don't know if Japan or whatever happened again, I'd definitely be open to it. But I'd say my main goal is getting back to affiliate and seeing what happens.
Hell yeah. I'm ready for it.
This is exciting too. Just like the possibilities are endless. So for any team out there, Brian does come with 3 different kinds of baseball mitts. He'll bring his first baseman mitt, his little tiny one for third base, and then a slightly bigger one to play the corner outfield spots. So, will travel too. So
absolutely. Play anywhere. I really did. It was, man, I played like 10 games there in Kansas City, and it was not pretty at first, but after I got some games under my belt, it was all good. I don't think I think I made one error, and it just ball took a bad. I was like right on it, perfect, and it just took a hop and went like right by my neck somehow. But that was it.
That's it.
So we could still do it.
Versatile.
Yeah.
He could do anything.
It's like when Miguel Cabrera hit you one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Just throw it straight to the ground so it bounces there. That's all you got to do.
Yes. That's all you need to do. All you need is a good first baseman to pick it. You're fine.
That's it, man.
Okay. This is great. Talk a little playoff ball now, because first I wanted to go back to a series that already ended, but I did want to kind of clean this up because we haven't really talked about this. We had Steve Johnson on last week to talk about the Orioles. When we taped it, they still had hope. They've since obviously been eliminated and run out of hope. But Brian, how would you look back at the 2023 Baltimore Orioles season? Success?
Well, to start, yeah, absolutely. To start, me and you, Jay, were texting about this, and I said that I thought Texas was going to beat them because the Orioles, they just have no experience. Like it was an unbelievable season for them. All those young guys can play, and they're going to be really good for the next however many years, and they're probably going to be one of the favorites next year. But the playoffs are just a different animal in Texas. I said you'll have to go back and look at the receipts. I said Texas has guys who have been there before, and they're obviously up 2-0 on the Astros right now too. So, but the Orioles it was unbelievable. I mean, Gunnar Henderson, what a player he is, what a player he's going to be. That whole team, I mean, they're just filled with young talent, and I'm sure they're going to go out in free agency and fill whatever holes they think they have. And man, they're going to be right there in the mix for the next 5, 7, however many years.
Love it. Kate?
Yeah, I was surprised that it was as quickly as it was, but I think to Brian's point, like nobody even expected them to even win the AL East, let alone make the playoffs. So in that regard, going from 83 wins to clinching the AL East, automatic bye into the ALDS, like I don't know how you can't say that's not a successful season. I know some people argue World Series or bust. Okay, but in my opinion, that was a success. And then I think in terms of the playoffs, like everything that we were kind of hoping wouldn't happen to them did. I feel like everything was really exposed. Like the rookies, aside from Gunnar Henderson, who hit 500 during that series, everyone else, they didn't really do much. Nobody was really showing up. And then the pitchers, they were getting hit, and the Rangers, I think, just outplayed them. So I think next year, and again, for the next couple of years, you have to think about like Jackson Holiday is going to come up maybe next year, the year after that. So they're going to be set up. And I feel like there's also giving all of those young, like that young core experience. That way next year they can kind of use that momentum.
Sky's the limit. Yeah. I saw they have 3 finalists for some awards. Gunnar for outstanding rookie, Bradish for AL outstanding pitcher, and then Ryan O'Hearn, one of my favorite dudes out there, AL comeback player. He's up against Glasnow and Liam Hendricks, by the way, so he might not. Ooh, who's winning AL comeback player of the year, Brian?
It's got to be Hendricks for sure.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah,
Glasnow though.
Glass is nasty. I mean, Hendricks, obviously, that coming back from a battle like that is, amazing. So I think he'll win it, but I am happy. O'Hearn's a good dude. I played against him coming up in Billings. That when we were talking about championship, he was MVP of that league, and man, he tore it up back then. I always thought he was a really good hitter, and Ryan O'Hearn, Brian O'Grady, we kind of bonded off of that. So yeah, good for him, man. That was a great turnaround.
He's the best. Yeah, all it took was just coming to Baltimore. Whatever secret sauce, I'd love to have him on to just figure out, like, was it like a mechanical thing? Was it a mindset thing? Was it a playing opportunity? Because I feel like with guys have these breakout seasons, it's got to be like some combination or maybe one of those.
Definitely, it probably is a combination, but there's sometimes we can't. I will say, I noticed he started striding like way close, like he closes off way more now than he ever used to. So that definitely was some sort of adjustment. But sometimes it just takes change of scenery, some different voices, and some real opportunity to play and be in the lineup.
Was he really intense back then too? He never smiles.
Maybe not as intense as he is now, but okay. He was always along those lines. But man, he could hit. Still can.
Who's the most intense player you've ever played with or played against?
Tommy Pham.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
I think
no further questions, Your Honor.
No further questions. I don't.
I rest my case.
We'll just drop it now.
Tommy's the best. Tommy's my guy. Tommy's best.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody work harder than him, but you've be more intense about it. Nothing. Tommy's one of a kind. But I think, yeah, like right off the top of my head, that was definitely who I thought of.
That's so
sure there's other guys, but
we're very pro Tommy Pham on this podcast.
Yes, we're pro Tommy Pham.
Hitting 3-hole for the Diamondbacks, man. I mean, Tommy Pham doing it.
Ooh, another team that I wanted to touch briefly on that Tommy Pham's former team, also your former team, Tampa Bay Rays. What is it about the playoffs, specifically the wild card round with Tampa and their offense? They scored 1 run last playoff and this playoff combined. That's really hard to do. You would think they would luck into something. Why can't they hit in the playoffs, Brian?
It's honestly, I think it's just kind of bad luck. I mean, Brandon Lau got hurt. Luke Raley, who had played a lot for him, was hurt too. Both lefty hitters. Then the Wander situation is a whole nother topic, but he wasn't around either. So I think it's just bad luck. Because they're obviously they're very good and they're always right there, and it just seems for whatever reason the playoffs just doesn't work out. But they're just hard to count out. I would never. If you asked me who was going to win that series at the time, I would have said them. But maybe we'll see. Maybe Texas is that team of destiny because they're looking pretty good right now. So maybe they got knocked out by the eventual World Series champions.
I did have a future on the Rays to win the World Series too. I had it at 13-1. So that was kind of a bummer. And also, yeah, I've just I have so many fandoms going on right now, mostly because of the guys that we meet on this podcast. I've talked to Kate a lot about this, and I get made fun of now in my friend group now. I'm just the bandwagon homer favorite team guy now. So it's hard. Brian, do you have these problems? Do you have an internal debate about which team you're rooting for because guys played for them, that kind of thing?
Yeah, if my buddies are on teams and I obviously am rooting for them, like I said, the Rangers and the Phillies right now. Tampa, there's a lot of guys there that I still root for, and San Diego, same thing. So I definitely am partial to those teams. Or Cincinnati, TJ Friedel, I'm always rooting for him to be playing well and things like that. Not necessarily the whole team, but yeah, the guys that I know. Like the other night, I have, besides Nate Lowe, I have some other friends that are with Texas too. But I turned that game on and he hit the homer and 2 pitches later. And I'm it was just it was so cool to see that. I'm so happy for him in particular, but it's definitely fun to watch your friends be playing well on any stage in the big leagues, but especially in the playoffs.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from the official sponsor of Not For Long Media and the Breaking Bats podcast, the original Fudge Kitchen. It is a staple of the Jersey Shore with 6 locations in Cape May, Wildwood, North Wildwood, Stone Harbor, and Ocean City. The original Fudge Kitchen makes all of their fudge in-store guaranteeing a delicious product, so stop by and let them know that Not For Long Media and Breaking Bats sent you. Check them out online at fudgekitchens.com as they are shipping fudge and sweet treats all across the country. Now back to the episode. Kate, what's the flow chart like of your rooting interests?
Right now, I would say, I'm not like you. I don't have 12 different teams that I root for.
Rangers year, baby.
I only pick a different. No, I'm so mad that you have a Ranger shirt on right now because on our last episode, he was like, no, the Rangers aren't going to win. They're not going to beat the Tampa Bay Rays. There's no way. And now he's riding the Texas Rangers. I'm so mad at you for this. But AL, no, I only pick a team once my team is eliminated. This is ridiculous. Always the Yankees. now if I have to pick an AL, it's Rangers because I can't watch the Astros win. And then the Phillies are so good. Like I love the Phillies. So nothing against the kids. Love the D-backs too, but they can maybe next year. Phillies or Rangers.
It's got to be the Rangers. I have a hard time rooting for the Phillies. One, as a Nationals fan. Tack that one on to the favorite teams. If you're keeping track at home, it's basically a fourth of the league right now that I am somewhat invested in. I just, as a Nationals fan, I can't in good conscience. I root for Matt Strahm though. So for one inning a night when he pitches, I will be ride or die.
Strahm was pitching well.
I mean, that save to get him to the CS.
That's awesome.
Were you watching that?
I did. I saw that. I was pumped for him. I was pumped. Man, yeah, I'm still a little partial because of where I grew up, but Morgan is, like I said, one of my good buddies. So root for him, for them to do well because it looks good for him. But and he deserves it anyway. But man, they're a fun team. They really are. I mean, Bryce Harper, unbelievable. I mean, the start to that game last night was insane. Like Schwarber hits that ball a million miles an hour first pitch of the game, and then Harper. I mean, Castellanos and his son. Like it's just cool, and the atmosphere there, man. The crowd in Philly is just unbelievable for those games.
Oh, that actually segues well into what I was going to ask you next about. It is the Phillies D-back series. Why is Merrill Kelly shit talking the bank?
Yeah, I mean, not a great idea. Definitely, some people are going to be saying some nice things to him out there tonight. But I mean, yes, I'm sure very respectfully. In his defense, I'm sure the Venezuela game that he's talking about was absolutely insane, too. And Miami was indoors at the time too, so it was probably like crazy loud in there. But if I was, I'm sure they don't feel this way, but like the D-backs, it's like they got nothing to lose, So maybe they're just kind of like, go out here and just fucking play whatever. But they're going to be letting Kelly. God, he gives up some runs. They're going to be letting Kelly hear it tonight.
Only a solo shot by Turner so far as we're taping this, so it's only 1-0. But Kate, do you think the bank is the best playoff atmosphere in baseball?
Oh, 200%. I think Philly in general. The fact that the players were literally at Xfinity celebrating with the fans. Where else are you going to find that? I thought that alone. Also, I don't know if you went. I was deep on Spencer Strider, Twitter, TikTok, everything. The Phillies fans really let him hear it during the Braves series. So I'm genuinely concerned for Merrill Kelly. Like them standing over the bullpen where Spencer Strider was warming up and I'm a Yankee fan. I've been at Yankee Stadium in a playoff atmosphere. That was the craziest I've ever seen people heckle another player. And again, they heckled Altuve, they heckled Carlos Correa during the ALCS, and that was absolutely insane what they were doing to Spencer Strider.
Wait, I didn't hear the audio. Was there something about his mom or something?
There was one about his mom, but then I think they went nonstop, no exaggeration, for his entire warm-up session. Like there was just no stopping. So they're crazy, but I think it is. If you're a Philly fan, I would say it's a really fun atmosphere.
Personally. Brian, back in 2008, didn't you go to some playoff games back in 2008?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was there. It was unbelievable. I was there for the Dodgers series. I wasn't there for the World Series. But still crazy. I mean, it was oh my God, it's electric. It looks, I mean, on TV now, it looks even better. The Philly fans, I mean, the Eagles and the Phillies really are huge there, especially when the Phillies get to the playoffs. Even during the regular season, they come out and support very well, but obviously the playoffs are different, and that place is packed, and people really do love the Phillies there.
Yeah. Would you say it's Eagles 1, Phillies 2 in terms of town rooting for things?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just because the Eagles are the Eagles, and football, it's once a week. The Phillies, they're playing all the time. So, but the playoffs, man. Like I said, the Phillies playoffs games are top level, without a doubt.
Here's a question for you. This is going back to the last series, but obviously we haven't had you on to talk about it. It was the attaboy Harper from Arcia.
Yes.
What did you think about it at the time? I had a take on it when I was texting you. I was like, I think Bryce Harper's trying too hard to be like Michael Jordan and trying to use anything as like motivation. Like when the guy said good game, Mike, but he didn't actually say good game, Mike, and he went out and torched him, like that kind of stuff. But what did you think about it? And is the clubhouse a sanctuary?
I think it's kind of like what you said. I don't think the way I see it happening in my head, Arcia isn't like talking shit in the clubhouse. I think he's just kind of saying it as like probably other guys would. Like I really don't think he was talking shit to Harper. I think he just said it, and my understanding is he doesn't speak great English anyway, so yeah, I don't think it was as serious as they made it out to be. But then you turn it to the Harper and the Phillies, it's like, yeah, it just gives you more ammo. Like, why not use it? Why not take it as something? And I mean, listen, you hit a homer right away like that after you hear some sort of whispers like that, or maybe you are a little too aggressive at the end of that game, like shoot him a little look. Loved it. I thought that was awesome. Like the picture of the second one where it's dark and cool. Like that pic is one of the best pictures I've ever seen. Like, I just think it's good gamesmanship there. Taking anything you can and just using it. And they're both NL East teams, so there's they don't love each other already, play each other all the time, and obviously the Braves had a great season, so the Phillies are trying to knock them out. The Phillies probably thought they deserved or should have won that game that the Braves did win too. So all of that, and as far as the sanctuary in the clubhouse, yeah, I do think it is, but I mean, you can't, when reporters are around, and you can't just say whatever you want to say too, and not expect it to go wherever. And COVID changed a lot of things. Like, I don't even think, even when I was in San Diego, I don't think reporters were allowed in the clubhouse like they are again now, and like they were before COVID. I think in 20 and 21, that was like not like that. So I forget what it's like when they're all can just come in after the game. But like I said, I think Arcia was just kind of probably messing around a little bit, and they were pumped that they won the game. And, whoever it was, I don't even know who it was, but heard it, and hey, this is a good clip, this is a good bite, put it out there, and that's it. I don't think it was bad on Arcia's part. I don't think it's bad on the reporter's part, and I don't think it's bad on Harper and the Phillies' part to like blow it up and use it as more motivation, if that makes sense.
Kate?
Yeah. I'm curious if you would be the type of player to hear a comment like that and kind of replicate Bryce Harper's actions, or just keep quiet like during a playoff atmosphere.
No, absolutely. If I had a homer, I would have looked at him or something like that. No doubt. It's just like such a perfect, like, subtle way to just be like, yeah.
I heard you.
Like, it's not too over. Like, he didn't say anything to him. It wasn't like too over the top, but it was enough that everybody knew, and he made his point.
Yeah, and kind of following up with that, because I mean, we've seen like Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, and Trey Turner like really showing up in the postseason, even Kyle Schwarber yesterday. Do you think certain players just like, what is it about them that they're able to perform so well under pressure when, look at the Braves lineup, equally as talented, they cannot perform like that? Like, do you think some people just enjoy the spotlight and playing in those type of moments?
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. I mean, first of all, like, all the guys you just said are really, really good players. It's not like any of them are low level and playing, way above what people think they can. I mean, I think Harper had a clip saying, like, there's no pressure in this for me. Pressure was like being picked number 1 overall and all that stuff. Like, now this is just fun. Yeah. And, he probably feels that way, but it goes back to, for me, like, the experience. The Phillies were there last year. A lot of the same guys. They beat the Braves last year. I think they just have that confidence and are feeling good. And, Trey Turner, that lineup, that's another big player right there. So the Phillies are scary for sure.
Justin?
Kyle Schwarber just hit a home run, by the way. I mean, right on command. I think literally as she said, yeah, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner. I look and it's just a Schwar bomb.
Every time they hit homers, I text Morgan and say, "Man, that's a good strength coach right there. All these homers." And
these guys are all jacked.
We'll go with that. Yeah, it's me. We'll go with that.
I had a question about: is this just the new playoff formula for winning? Is to hit home runs? Because I saw in the divisional round, 47 home runs in the DS, 118 runs scored, 70 of those were coming off of a home run. I always thought, like, when the Orioles were going to the playoffs, like, that was a home run hitting team. And I always heard you're supposed to be like the Kansas City Royals, play small ball, and, like, you can't just only hit home runs. Has it just shifted to now that that's the only way you can win is to hit a tater?
I don't think it's the only way you can win, but I think it's, like, I don't know if I should say easiest. It's just hard these days to string together that many hits to score runs, especially in the playoffs, because managers are using their bullpen different. They're more aggressive in how they do it than they are in the regular season and things like that. And if it's if it's only the 3-game series or whatever, then that's a whole different story about how you can use pitching and, So I just think if you have that power threat, the Phillies, I mean, they're hitting solo shots too, which a lot of times don't hurt that much, but the Phillies have also pitched really well. To go with their power, but I think it's definitely tougher nowadays to be a small ball team or to not hit home runs than to at least have that threat or have the ability to have a few guys in the lineup that can run into runs.
Yeah, that's what I always thought too, because, like, it only takes one pitch, that's one run potentially, or if there's guys on base, that's more. But I was just, for so many years, I was told that that's bad, and you're supposed to bunt and drag bunt for a hit, and sack fly your way into winning these games. It's just crazy. Yeah. Because I always think of, like, there hasn't been a real big small ball team, I feel like, that's won it since the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right. I mean, I think nowadays you have to have some sort of power. The Phillies are probably taking it to, like, the extreme of that right now. I mean, they're just really hot and all hitting home runs. But yeah, it just seems to be really, really hard to, have a big inning where you have like 5 hits or something like that. That just doesn't happen very often now, it seems like.
Yeah.
Are you jealous that you never played on a team where Dancing on My Own was the team anthem?
Hey, they really have, like, embraced that whole thing, and the crowd too. I mean, good for them. That's cool that they have a sort of rallying song. It's pretty funny that it's Dancing on My Own, but hey, whatever works.
Kait, how many times have you streamed that song on Spotify?
Oh, millions of times. I think it's funny that the 2018 Red Sox used it first, and now the Phillies are like, nope, our song now. But it's interesting.
Yeah. I feel like it's gotten tossed around between a couple teams. I feel like
it really has. Everyone wants it. It's a good song.
It is. The remix with, like, the beat behind it is good. The original without, like, the DJ thing, it's just weird.
It's really slow. The original's really slow.
The original's really slow. It's kind of sad too. Like, you listen to the lyrics, you're like, God damn, man. Like, go out, just get back out there. Keep your head up, man. Don't get down. And now you see, like, dudes shirtless, like Garrett Stubbs, just gassing beers to that song now.
Keg stands with Dancing on My Own in the background.
Yeah, just keg stands. Ooh. Brian, how many Coors Lights were consumed after you won the Indie Ball Championship?
I took it easy that night because I was leaving my flight. My flight was leaving at like 7 a.m. the next morning, so I took it easy. Honestly, I think I drank like 1.5. I had one, like, immediately, like, right after, like, when we were celebrating on the field. I had one, and then opened a second and just, like, sipped it barely for, like, the rest of the time. Yeah. Because I was like, I am not missing this flight. I got to be up way too early, take the rental car back, all that stuff. But a lot of the other guys had a lot of fun that night, but I had to come back home when we get back home.
That's a veteran move, though. I feel like, I got to take the rental car back. I have to do adult things. I can't just be, bonging Coors Light.
Yep. It was, if you told me that I was going to hit a walk-off single to win the championship, I might have booked a little bit later flight than 7 a.m., but, I had
7 a.m.?
Yeah.
That's early.
God.
Was it 7 or was it earlier? I think it was 7. I was up early. I left my apartment at like 4:15 or 4:30 that morning.
Damn. This is the behind the scenes, behind the music stuff that people are interested in. Yeah. How many Coors Lights did Brian have? Because you had the interview. You had the one Coors in the interview. And then that was probably the one that you just like held for,
Yeah. I just took it easy after that. It took a lot to not drink a bunch of Coors Lights after that, but my wife would not have been happy if I missed that flight home the next morning. So got to do it.
It's a big internal struggle. How many Coors Lights should I have tonight? I have that every weekend. I'm right there with you. I want to talk a little ALCS. Scherzer's coming back for this next game. What do we think? Are we thinking? I think I saw a stat. It was like teams that go up 2-0 in the championship series, they win like 91% of the time or something. I mean, this is Texas all the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go with Texas, and I do think they're a better team, honestly, but I have learned to not count the Astros out over these past 7 years or whatever it's been. So, I won't say that it's 100% Texas, but yeah, it's hard to blow a 2-0 lead like this, and Texas, they're playing well. They have some really good players. So, but we'll see, man. I said it to you too, like before. Anybody counting the Astros out is just not very smart because all they've done is won for however long.
And it's going back to Texas too.
And hold on, the homer that Yordan Alvarez hit off of Aroldis Chapman the other night, his second homer, was one of the dumbest. That was unbelievable. It was a slider, like literally off the plate away, just about, and he hit an absolute missile to right field. It was just insane. He's unbelievable. That was crazy. Sorry,
that was my next question.
I agree.
Kate, do you get like secondhand anxiety watching Chapman pitch? Because he tries really hard to give it to Houston every time. He's doing his damnedest.
The pitch that Altuve hit to the wall, that would have been, it was either game time or the go ahead that Evan Carter made that insane catch. I was staring at the screen going, no, oh my gosh, I am back in time. I'm back in 2019 ALCS game 6, and I want to hurl myself off a bridge. This is the worst moment. But no, I really, really do. Anytime I see his graphic come up, it's always like the 8th inning, and he likes to keep it interesting. I will say that. I think he enjoys some satisfaction out of it. But yeah, PTSD for all Yankee fans whenever he comes onto the mound.
Chapman's the #1 pitcher for keeping it interesting. He's not the guy you want to have a breeze like 3 up, 3 down. He is that. Yeah, the Altuve one was. I was like, well, I mean, that's gone. That's just gone.
Yeah. And it's always Altuve, and it's always at Minute Maid. His numbers at Minute Maid are so bad. I don't know what it is.
Ryan, could you have made that Evan Carter catch?
Oh yeah, no problem. Easy. Yeah. No doubt. No, he can really play, man. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's played very
Especially because I think he said he had to like run parallel to the Crawford boxes and then back to make that.
Yeah.
Too.
No, that's a really tough catch because those dimensions are just weird. If Altuve pulls that ball 15 feet more, towards the line, that's a homer. Yeah. So you're kind of dealing with that. It's a tough catch, and then to jump up and to make that catch in that like junction of the game too. That's a great play without a doubt.
Have you ever pulled a Jose Altuve where like you didn't go back and touch second base? Because that was embarrassing.
I actually did. I did in Japan. But I swear they called me out. I swear I touched it, but they called me out. They reviewed it and they called me out. Yeah. I don't know. I was I forget. Yeah, I was on first. Same thing, like ball deep to left, and It clips probably somewhere, but yeah, mine was not as egregious as his. I swear I touched it, but what are you gonna do?
You don't see that play that often. That's like a little league. That's like no,
Yeah.
touch it.
Well, that was the craziest part because in my head I was like, okay, touch. Like I knew. I'm like, gotta touch the bag, and they said I didn't. Allegedly missed the bag.
You touched it though. Yeah,
I touched it.
Okay. I had a couple last things, and then we have a fun mystery at bat segment. Here's one for you, Brian. Speaking of Japan, there's a pitcher coming over. He played for Orioles. I'm going to butcher his name. Yamamoto. We're going to go Yamamoto, last name only. He's coming. Did you hit off of him?
Oh yeah, I hit off him all the time. He was same division. He's good.
Okay,
he's very good.
Oh, cool.
That was my question. Yeah. What is a team that's signing him this winter going to get? And then do you have any tape of you hitting a home run off of him that we could tweet out?
I don't think I ever homered off him. I got my first hit of the season off him. I have that somewhere.
Oh, that's great.
I know. Yeah.
We had good battles. My numbers against him were better than against Senga. But I homered off Senga and didn't homer off Yamamoto. He's good, man. I mean, he throws hard, 95, 97, something like that. Good spin. And then he's got his splitter he's got a very good splitter. Really, really good curveball to go with it too. And that's what he mostly threw to me. I don't know if he's changed that this year. I know he changed his delivery a little bit this year. But he's really good. He really is. He's a smaller guy, but he's gonna get a lot of money and he's gonna pitch well over here. He threw a no-hitter against us when I was there. Yeah. But it's the same thing. I mean, Senga had success, so I would think he would too. The one thing that's different, it will be the strike zone. He especially those guys get a lot of room off the plate over there in Japan that he will not be getting here. So that'll be interesting. But no, from like pure stuff, I mean, he can really pitch. I think he'll do very well over here. And he's won like the Triple Crown of pitching in Japan for the last like 3 years or something. I mean, he's legit.
Okay. This is good. I know what hit you're talking about too. You slapped a little like single to right field off him.
Yeah, it's a splitter. Yep. He opened. Yep. Yeah, he started against us opening night, and I think I struck out, grounded out, and then a little line drive to right field, my third bat off him. But yeah, we had
those. Yeah.
No, we won't. But we had some battles. He pitched against us a lot. I mean, a lot.
Oh, cool.
This is good. Okay. Wait, I always get him. There's Sasaki's like the 19-year-old that throws like 100 miles an hour, right?
Yeah. Yep. Sasaki's was in that division too. He plays for Chiba Lotte. But yeah, he's still a few years away from coming over.
Okay.
That'll
be the next thing.
Yeah, Yamamoto is a better pitcher right now for sure than Sasaki is, but Sasaki's got a better fastball and splitter combo. He's just got a better fastball. So it makes the splitter probably a little bit better. But Yamamoto can throw more pitches, and locate better, I would say.
I like it. Okay. Though I had two last things. Joey Votto. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Joey Votto. We had a little bit of a roller coaster, or at least I was on a personal roller coaster of emotion because I thought he was just going to retire. And then he went on Dan Patrick and he said he's going to come back. They have like a $20 million team option, which they're not going to pick up, but he said he wants to play another year, doesn't want to go out like that. Did you kind of like you knew he wasn't going to retire, right? He wouldn't go out on like an ejection on like half a season's worth of games, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been tough for a player like that to have your last game is an ejection. Just I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think. But Joey, I think you said this to me too, and I said, Joey, if he feels physically that he can still play at a level that is acceptable to him and his standards, then he's going to do it. And that's all it'll be. If he felt physically like he couldn't do it anymore, then he would retire. But you know, I think he gives it one more shot and sees what happens. I still think he can play, but I don't see the Reds picking up that option. And man, it'd be crazy to see him in another uniform, but I feel like that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have. I mean, I don't know if they have room for him. You know, the kid Encarnacion Strand is probably going to play first base, and I mean, the Reds have some good young players. So I don't know, but it will be very strange to see him in another uniform if that's what happens.
Kate?
Yeah, I mean, the entire ejection thing threw me for a loop because I thought he was retiring the whole season and just not doing like the farewell tour like Miggy did. But then on the podcast, so now I'm very confused. If he's not on the Reds though, I feel like he's not going to play. Do you think like he'd play one more year in another team? I guess he could.
If he wants, if he just, yeah. I mean, I definitely could see a scenario where the Reds bring him back, and you know, I don't think he'll play the field. I think he'll DH or whatever. But it just depends on the kind of playing time that they could give him and stuff. Because I don't think the Reds probably feel like they can truly compete next year.
Yeah.
You know, to win the NL Central. So I don't know if they're just, even though it's Joey Votto and he is, you know, has been the Reds for however long, like I don't know if they'll just give him at bats for that at that point. It'll be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if he want to be a part-time player either. I feel like I read that maybe Bob Nightingale or something had like, he wants to come back and play, but he doesn't want to just be like a strictly platoon, like 50 games next year kind of. He wants to play a lot, and I don't know if that's going to be on the Reds. So I'm kind of bummed out about that. But I've heard a smattering of Joey Votto stories from you over the years, Brian. You know, on the backfield of spring training before a game, getting all weird, like covered in mud, and then going out and playing in that same uniform. Is there another, maybe the first time you met Joey Votto? What was the first thing that happened when you met Joey Votto?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I don't remember when I first met him. But 19 spring training was when we were together. It was just the two of us at first base. And he was just, you know, super helpful, super cool. I would ask him everything, and you know, he'd always give me good answers and was always very open to talk like that. I mean, he was I remember talking to him about like retiring back then, and you know, he was still doing his thing, and he was just like, you ever think about, I remember like outside the weight room before practice, he's like, you ever think about what you're gonna do when you retire or like when you're done? And I was like, Joey, I'm still trying to fucking get there, man. I ain't thinking about that right now. And I was like, do you? And he was like, yeah, I think about it a lot. And I was like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I don't know yet. Maybe surf, maybe do like stuff like that. Like, that's just who he is, you know. He is a great baseball player and he's obsessed with baseball, but he also has a lot of other interests, and you know, he goes full heart into things like chess. He's a great chess player. That's one of his things. Like, I think that off season 19, he was like tired of lifting weights, so I believe he took like dance salsa lessons or something, and like did stuff like that for footwork instead of like doing his normal stuff. Like, that's just who he is. And he's a good dude, and man, he's a great player.
I'm just picturing like showing up to like a Zumba dance class and Joey Votto's there.
Yeah, literally.
That's what he does.
Okay. That's fantastic. I love that he asks a rookie who hasn't even made his debut yet, hey, what are you doing when you're done?
Yeah.
Oh, he was like dead serious too. Like, it was just like a genuine question. It wasn't like he was just being like, he was thinking about it, and he just asked me if I had ever really thought about it. And that's what he said. Like, I remember him saying something like, as long as I, you know, feel like I can play well, I'm going to keep doing it. But if I stink, then screw it. That was, I think that year too, he was like, he was driving a minivan, I think, to spring training, like, because he had his dog. He had a huge dog, I can't remember his name, that he would bring like all the time, and he was just like in the minivan with him, and he was rolling around Arizona in the minivan.
Joey Votto's rolling up on a Honda Odyssey with a Doberman in it.
Yep,
It's
pretty
so
sure.
good. It's so good.
It was either that year, maybe it was the year before. I can't remember, but that definitely happened too.
That's so everybody's showing up in like their exotic cars, and like guys like 10 years of service time have like Lambos with like the gull wing doors, and Joey's got the minivan where the button hits and the door slides.
Yeah, I'd heard like because he had like a big car collection too. I don't know if he still does, or that's what I'd heard at the time. And then I heard that he sold like all his cars and then he bought that minivan. I don't know how true that is or anymore, but that was what I was hearing at the time.
Unconfirmed. Yeah, let's just there were rumors circulating. Oh,
yep.
Fuck. Okay. Kate, do you have any last things we can do mystery at bat to end?
Go ahead, roll out the mystery at bat. I'm excited to see Brian's
God, I'm nervous.
I'm very excited about this. So for those who don't know, there's this thing called the MLB film room. You can look it up. Every pitch of every game is on there in video form. So like every pitch Brian has seen in his 3 years in the big leagues are on that website. And so sometimes I don't know, I was just checking it out, just perusing, just trying to see if there's any cool things in there. Give me 1 second. I got to pull this up. All right, there we go. Look how tech savvy I am today.
So tech savvy.
Okay. There's an at bat. It is from 2021. So Brian was on the Padres. Is this going to work? Okay. I'm going to pause it right here. Brian, do you know what's about to happen? This is
my God. This is fucking what the hell is his name? This is Carpenter pitching to me, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Matt Carpenter, position player pitching. There's no sound, so the podcast listeners are gonna have to watch the clip of this. But
I was fucking mad for this.
Look how bad this strike was.
Yeah, well,
this is a called strike.
It's so bad.
My favorite is, I don't know if you could see it because you have to like zoom in. I think you shouted the F word and you screamed something because that was the worst called strike I've ever seen.
I don't doubt it.
Matt Carpenter.
This is the result of that. Hang on.
Yeah, it fucking popped up. I know what the result is.
Well, the people don't. So yeah, 56. I think that's Lane Thomas. So Natitude.
Oh my God.
I saw that.
I was so mad. After that, I was like feeling good too, like starting to feel good, hitting in the box there. And then I'm walking up and I'm like, I got to hit off fucking Matt Carpenter. Are you kidding me? And then I think I started struggling after that, in all seriousness.
Oh, shit.
I think. I could be wrong. No, I don't matter. I hate I never like position. If I see a position player pitching, I'm like, no, please no. Don't want to do it. Please God.
Yeah. It's like
it's hard. It is legitimately, I think it's hard. It's because I'm too serious, especially like for me there, like, if it's a guy who like isn't fighting to stay up there every day and can just like relax a little more and have some fun with it, it's probably easy. But for me, I'm like, I need to hit this ball out of the stadium right now. And what I do, I pop it up to second base.
The pressure is too much.
Yeah, it really is pressure though, because like I can't imagine if I struck out, I would like, in my mind, I can't even tell you how angry I would be if I struck out to a position player pitching.
What were the conversations like? What were the conversations like in the dugout when Carpenter was pitching?
I don't remember. But we were winning the game, so whatever. And that was actually, I think that was like we had a little COVID outbreak, so we had like some of my buddies, some like random guys playing in that game too. Like I think we were missing like 4 or 5 starters, and we won like 8 games in a row or something with like a lot of AAA guys in the lineup. So everyone was pumped that we were just kind of rolling.
Jorge Mateo?
That's awesome.
Jorge was definitely on the team. I don't know if he was playing. It was like me, the guys who got called up. I mean, I was already on the roster, so it was like me, but then like my buddy Pat Kivelhan. I mean, who had a nice little career, but like he wasn't on the roster. He got called up. John Andrioli, another guy like Ivan Castillo, I think had like his only couple big league games then, and like I don't know, we played well and we won, so it was funny. And I remember seeing a tweet like I don't know if it was this year or last year, but like a Padres fan complaining about the Padres sucking with like all the really good players in there. And they were like, we won like 8 games in a row with guys in the lineup like Kivelhan, O'Grady, and Andrioli, and these guys can't even win. Those are like 2 of my really good friends too. So like, I love them. Shout out to them. I'm not knocking on them. It's just funny.
Awesome.
Okay. There's a part of me that feels bad that I made that the mystery at bat now.
Oh no, that's hilarious. I don't care. I was just telling you I told them the time. Yeah, don't bother me now.
Okay. I didn't know if there was still like some residual, like you go to bed every night and there's that just like, damn, Matt Carpenter.
Fucking Matt Carpenter ruined it.
Matt Carpenter, 56 miles an hour.
I think that's the only time I've ever faced him, at least in pro ball, like a position player, I think.
Remember when Frank Schwindel threw like 38?
Frank, yeah. Yep, I do. I think that, but the reason why I remembered what clip it was right away was just because of the score of the game. And I just knew it was like that series. It wasn't like I immediately was like, oh, fucking Matt Carpenter. Like, it's like, oh, I think I know what this
nightmares.
Yeah. I think I had a hit off Wainwright earlier in that game, so we'll call it even.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the next mystery at bat will be a little more happier or something. We're going to go with a tater, maybe, or a triple off the wall or something.
You can bring whatever one you want. I'll probably remember it, whether it's good or bad. I usually do.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, though. So much good. All of it's good.
Yeah, there's some good. There's some good.
Yeah.
There's only good. This has been incredible. This I love anytime the 3 of us get together. I feel like it's some of our best work. So I do. I think the one we did in June was one of my favorites, and I think this one's better than that one because we have a mystery at bat.
True.
No doubt.
We got a nice story out of it too.
Okay. Brian, thank you as always for coming on. And yeah, let's I guess go Phils.
Go Phils.
Yeah, go Phil.
Go Phils.
Yeah.
Go Phils.